Now, the eNCA election bus is back on the road. Our team spent the day in Port Elizabeth yesterday speaking to both young and old. Let's check in with my colleague now, Yuveka Rangappa, who is on board the bus. Hello, Yuvi. You look well rested. Let's talk about the people of Nelson Mandela Bay.
I am very well rested.
Let's talk about the people you spoke to and the sentiment coming across, UV, about this upcoming election. Are they enthusiastic? Are they excited to vote? But also importantly, the quality of life that they lead in Nelson Mandela Bay. Is it good or are things deteriorating?
Well, Koli, again, we try to get a mix of South African voters. We went for the students first before they headed off to class in the morning. And unlike the Western Cape, we did see in Port Elizabeth that students, yes, have registered to vote. They are going to vote. But yet again, a lot of indecision. They don't know who they're going to be voting for. And we have, what, about 11 days left? My maths is terrible. I think it's 11 days. Yeah. So they haven't decided yet. And for our female student, it was a lot of issues of safety as a young woman, safety for her, employment. What was the other big one for our male student is they have a lot of friends, older friends who've graduated but are sitting around unable to find any jobs. And the same, I mean, I finally found my gangsters, Koli. We went to Helen Vale. I managed to speak to them. I can't identify them. I can't tell you who they are. I was not allowed. I think you'd have watched the interview this morning where you saw the back of their heads. Even them, I asked them, why did you turn to a life of gangsterism? And they say, because there were no jobs. We weren't allowed to continue studying because the gangsters wouldn't allow us to go to school. It was difficult for us to complete our studies, and there were no jobs. And this is the easiest way. I stand in my territory. I collect 5 rand from taxi drivers so that they are allowed to operate in my territory, and just to put food on the table for their families. And they have children now, for their kids as well. So they say unemployment is the biggest problem. We also spoke to the elderly. We went to an old age home, and I can tell you, Koli, it broke my heart as somebody who has, pensioners for parents as well. If you looked at the size of that room, I mean, they could have been living in a cupboard. It was a person to a room, which was a fraction of the size of this bus. Not even a bathroom. Men and women sharing a communal bathroom, 10 of them. The doors don't lock. Unbelievable. I mean, safety, the home itself was not well secured. They had theft every so often. So the quality of life there as well, they said, not ideal, not the best for them. It was heartbreaking to see for many of them, but they remain hopeful that things will get better. And they are voting as well. They will be voting. Very
depressing, the picture you're painting there. Talk to us about the changes that people of Nelson Mandela Bay have seen. That municipality, first in the DA's run coalition government, now under the UDM's Mongameli Bobani. Importantly, again, UV, are people of Nelson Mandela Bay seeing the delivery of services? Is it proficient, or are things going backwards?
Yeah, I think the sentiment I picked up, Koli, was that it certainly isn't getting any better from both the students and the elderly that we spoke to. They say things were slightly better when Athol Trollip was mayor. Those are not my words, that's their words, those are their words. The students, for example, saying that around student digs, you know, where the Donkin Reserve is, there's student accommodation across the road, saying it is so unsafe. Students are attacked so often. And when Athol Trollip was mayor, the Metro Police used to patrol outside. At least they were visible and they were a little safer. Now that's gone. They don't see any cops patrolling outside. It's not safe for students anymore. Even the elderly, and in the areas we went to, I think it was Corsten where we were, where the home was, saying at least when Athol Trollip was mayor, they would come and clean up the streets. You wouldn't see rubbish strewn and dumped outside of there. Things were a little better. So the common sentiment was that it's not improving under the new mayor at the moment.
Yuvi, you look nicely strapped in. Let's put Nelson Mandela Bay at the back of our minds now for a little bit, that depressing picture. Talk to us about where you're heading next.
Okay, well, we are heading off to Durban next. We're going to be in Durban, so we're going to be traveling along the route where we are going to pass by some of the areas that have been hit by the heavy rains and the flooding. So if we can, we will stop and try and chat to people, because we are in a bus and we understand that the roads might be in a bit of a state, and we do want to get through the election bus and talk about elections to other people. So when we get to Durban, we want to chat to various people again. We also want to get an idea of how white South Africans are voting, Indian South Africans are voting as well. So we want to get the black and white vote again and compare and contrast if we can. So we'll try to get to various areas, give you a mix of views and sentiment and how people are feeling. But for now, we are filling up as we are preparing to leave PE Xoli. We are checking the tire pressure so we don't, what's that term you coined? We don't get a pyre puncture along the way. Hashtag pyre puncture. Yes.
Yuveka, your time is up, okay? Your time is up.
Get there.
Thank you very much, Yuveka.
All right, don't forget if you want to follow us. It's hashtag eNCA election bus. Yes.
Wonderful. We've got that, UV. You'll see that bus. You'll see it very clearly. It has the face of Yuveka Rangapha. Massive, massive face outside it. And of course, there is the other very handsome gentleman on the side as well.